Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to Roll Release Recovery, post-run, recover and stretch. So I have a foam roller and I have some therapy balls. You could use a tennis ball. You could put 2 tennis balls, a lacrosse ball, and a sock to get the peanut ball effect. And I have a yoga strap. You can also use anything that isn't stretchy, like a strap from luggage or a karate belt or a long piece of fabric, something like that. And assuming you've just gone for a nice long run and now you need to cool down, you need to stretch. So we're going to start in toe crunch. So you're going to curl your back toes under. You're going to reach back and grab maybe that pesky little pinky toe, 4th toe, if they aren't all the way under. If this is incredibly painful for you and the bottoms of your feet are super tight, you're going to start with your fingertips down on the mat. Draw your belly button in. Sort of squeeze your heels together, and you're slowly going to walk your hands back. If you can see, my toes are underneath my heels. And ideally what we're going to be going for is having the ears over the shoulders and the shoulders over the hips. Now this is a static stretch. We can do a static stretch because you've already warmed up your muscles, you've already gone for a run. You don't want to do a static stretch like this when you're super cold, when your muscles are cold. That's when we do dynamic stretching. Prior to a workout is dynamic, post-workout would be a static stretch. So we're going to do some myofascial release with the foam roller, and just to give you guys a break. You're going to set your fingers down, pick up your feet, do like a little drum roll, curl your back toes under, and come back and sit. If this is really painful for you and you're way here and you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it, you just have to understand that the flexibility of your toes is really, really important for heel strike and for our balance, for the health of our knees. You want to make sure that you keep your toes nice and flexible. It'll really help athletes with speed and cutting left to right, jumping, being able to run long distances without pain. And then bring your hands down and kind of do a little roll. And then I want you to sit back on your heels. Bring your hands back right by your feet. And if you can, without leaning back too far, I'm picking up my knees and I'm stretching out the whole front of the tops of my feet. And I'm feeling it all the way up my shins. Feels pretty good. Even if you can come up just an inch, just try that stretch. Draw your belly button in, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Great, and then lower down. We're gonna work on our calves and then go to our shins. So in the pre-run warm-up video, I showed that you can use the roller, and you wanna roll your feet to one side and your feet to the other side. Pick up your hips and roll. We wanna roll the calves. You want to roll the middle of the calf, the outside of the calf, and the inside of the calf. You can cross one foot over. And remember, we're breathing and we're moving slowly, and we're staying away from the back of the knee. It's a highly innervated area. It's very thin tissue back there. We just don't want to bruise anything or cause any problems. I like to rock and roll from side to side, rather than just rolling and spanning in the same direction. I also like the peanut ball and just kind of rocking back and forth. I really like the peanut ball because I can drive down and kind of straddle the Achilles tendon in the back of my leg here. And I'm really applying pressure and leaning forward. I'm just trying to get in there. I'm going to internally rotate, bring my right toes to the left. I'm going to externally rotate and bring those toes out to the side and get the outer part of the shin and of the calf and the inner part of the calf right there in the meaty part of that big muscle that's called the gastroc. That's tight pretty much in everybody's, all kinds of knots in there, all kinds of buildup. You want to get in there, and the therapy balls and the rollers really help to drive to open up the unhealthy tissue so that good oxygen and fresh blood can kind of get in there. And then we have much more healthy tissue that's hydrated and can help us increase our range of motion and our flexibility. So make sure you've gone over to the other side. And then I'm going to demonstrate a couple stretches. I am going to have to stand up, so you're going to miss part of me. So I've got my left foot forward, I've got my right foot back. My feet are hips width. My toes are facing forward. My hands are on my hips. I'm going to keep my back heel down and my back leg straight with a small bend. I'm going to walk my front foot forward and bend my knee just to the point of me feeling a stretch in my calf muscle in the back on my straight leg. I want to make sure that this front knee doesn't travel over the ankle, or definitely not over the toes, and I'm driving my back heel down. I'm doing a static calf stretch. Remember, we can do static stretches after we've worked out. Now I'm going to come out of this stretch. I'm going to walk my back foot in slightly. My feet are still hips width apart. I'm sitting up nice and tall, standing up nice and tall. I'm going to bend both knees. Now I'm bending the back knee and I'm bending the front knee. And I feel this stretch down at the bottom. That's the soleus. That's it's like, it's another calf muscle, but it's underneath and below the big calf muscle that we spend most of our time focusing on. So I have to bend this back knee and bend this front knee at the same time. So let's switch sides. So now I've got the other foot forward and the other foot back. Make sure you're not in heel to toe alignment, otherwise you're going to have a hard time with your balance. I'm driving my back foot down and I'm lunging into the front foot. I'm bringing my shoulders back so that my head is over my shoulders are over my hips. And the more I bend this front knee, the more I'm going to feel it in my calf muscle in the back leg. Then I'm going to shorten my stance, bend both knees, keeping the back heel down. You can also do this holding onto a wall in front of you and make sure that you're not leaning forward too much. When you lean your body forward, you'll hardly feel the stretch in the back. But if you're really tight, you're probably going to have to be in a leaning forward position just to be able to take some time and breathe into that calf stretch. Good. So let's come down and work onto the shins. I do like the peanut ball for the shins. I like to just put it right and so that it's straddling either side of my shin bone. I can roll all the way from the top of my feet all the way up to the top of my shin, but avoiding my knee. I can slowly plow. Feels really good to go all the way onto the top of the foot. And then I'm going to switch sides. And remember, you want to pause and you want to go slow enough so that you can feel, oh, I'm getting a cramp in my foot. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to point and flex those toes. I'm going to circle up my ankle and then I'm going to continue. You want to go slowly enough so that you can listen to the feedback that your body is giving you. So I feel a real tender spot right here. So I'm just going to pause on it and I'm just going to kind of wiggle from side to side. If you have a really, really tender spot that just takes your breath away, you want to go off of that and not roll on really, really tender spots. You don't want to be in a lot of pain because too much pain can actually work in the reverse and make our body lay down a bunch of fascia in that particular spot because it's kind of perceiving trauma. So if we have a really tender spot, you want to sort of work, if it's right here, you want to work around it. Just kind of like our IT band. We don't roll from everything that I've been taught. You don't roll the IT band, you want to roll the channel in front of it and the channel behind it. Okay, so we've done our shins. Let's do our hamstrings. And again, I really like the ball on the back of the hamstring. You can use a single ball and start up high, right below the glute, right in front of the sit bone, and just sit right on that ball and just kind of wiggle your butt from side to side. And then I like to work my way all the way down the hamstring. You can use your hands to take the pressure off. Nice big breathing through the whole thing. So fatigued muscle tissue is unhealthy muscle tissue, and that's when we roll or if we use a stick or balls, it's really, really sore. It's not supposed to be sore when we compress our muscles and we play. And fatigued muscles can be from overuse, it can be from repetitive motion, it can be from lifting something really heavy at work, maybe sitting for a really long time, sleeping in a funny position, and then it can get worse by you being dehydrated you not getting enough sleep, maybe not drinking, dehydrated, not drinking enough water. So what happens is the chemicals that tell our muscles to fire and contract when they're asked to actually do something, sometimes they get stuck in that mode, and the chemicals that were put in there to make the muscle contract and do its job, they get stuck in there. And that can cause us restricted range of motion, restricted flexibility, and pain. Okay, so let's stretch out our hamstrings. So ideally, you'd have a strap, and you'd lie onto your back. And bend both knees, both feet on the floor. Take your strap and get it towards the back of your arch or directly right on your heel. And then you just want to bend and extend. Extend the other leg long and find a nice straight leg with a tiny little micro bend. I'm pulling down on my strap and pressing up with my heel. And I'm bringing my toes toward the top of my head and stretching out my hamstring. My shoulders are relaxed. My arms are long. I'm pulling my shoulders down into the mat. My chin is tucked. And I'm looking at my third toe, and I want to track my third toe in line with my ankle and in line with my knee. You can bend and extend, and then we'll switch sides. This is a really nice way to stretch out your hamstrings. I'll show you another way. You can continue on with here. I'm going to demonstrate another way to stretch out your hamstrings, especially if you don't have a yoga strap. So you would just extend your legs out in front and sit up nice and tall and forward fold. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades back and I'm maintaining a flat back. I'm actually going to bring my hands right behind my head so that I don't round my shoulders forward. My ankles are dorsiflexed, so I'm reaching through my heels, and I'm just pulling my torso back as I hinge my hip forward. If I round forward, it's going to take it right into my low back, and boy, does that feel good. That feels great. That's another great post-run stretch. But we're demonstrating right now, sitting up nice and tall, a hamstring stretch. The other thing you can do is you can cross one foot over the other and do the same thing. Come down with a flat back, pull your belly button in, you can even reach your hands behind you to make sure that you don't internally rotate your shoulders, and take it into the low back. Then we'll do this side. Another great way to get into the hamstrings. Great, now we're going to do the inner thighs. So I'm going to lie on my belly in a forearm plank. I'm going to bend one knee and turn the roller so that it's perpendicular to my thigh. And I'm going to roll to the bottom part of my inner quad, my inner thigh muscle, and I'm lifting my foot and pressing and coming not too close up to the groin and going back and forth. You can stop and you can rock and roll. You can just kind of pick your foot up and it's rolling the thigh from left to right. This is really painful on me. I need to do this more and kind of work all the way on that inner thigh muscle, your adductors. Then we're going to switch and move to the other side. So I do like the roller for this particular exercise. So draw your belly button in. Draw your belly in, your low belly. And remember, if you lift your foot and draw the knee down, you're really going to isolate those inner thigh muscles. So take a couple more passes there. Really good way to compress the muscles on the inner thigh. And then we're going to go to our glutes. So we'll start just by sitting on the roller. And I demonstrated in the pre-run warm-up where you can do the figure 4 and drop the knee. This time we're just going to keep our knees together and our ankles together. And I'm just going to drop my knees over to one side. And I'm going to roll the whole length of the glute. From the bottom of the glute all the way up to the top, even hitting the back of the low back on the right. I'm on my right side right now, kind of going out to the hip. And then in, you just want to avoid that SI joint area. So you want to stay kind of high glute. And then go over to the other side. You're welcome to do the figure 4 stretch if that felt good. If that felt good for you, I'm going to demonstrate again how you would roll out your glutes with a ball. I've got the double peanut ball and I'm just sitting on it. And I'm working the whole glute. You just move it around. You can get the high glute. And lifting the hips slightly and just rolling. And you want to make sure you do both sides. Go back to one of the sides if it's super tight. We're going to finish with our quads. We're going to finish with our quad. Actually, let's do a glute stretch. So we're going to lower down onto our forearms and onto our back. Bring your left ankle or right ankle on top of the other thigh and figure 4. So first you're going to dorsiflex that ankle, toes towards the knee, and draw the sole of that foot away from you. That's going to protect this knee. And lift the bottom foot up off the floor. Keeping head, neck, and shoulders on the mat and relaxing, drawing your belly button in. You're just going to pull the knee. This is my right knee. I want to track it to my right shoulder. The tendency is to roll in towards the midline. I want to roll a little bit towards my right hip because I'm pulling my right knee into my right shoulder, and that's really going to accentuate the stretch. I'm using my left elbow to try and press that left thigh away. Then I'm going to bring this foot down, cross the thigh over, pick up my feet, grab with my hands up, shins or ankles, and I'm going to pull out with my feet, pull down with my hands, and pull my knees in towards my chest, tucking my chin, pressing the back of my head down and away, and then unravel, and we can do the other side. So it's figure 4, flex the ankle, aim the sole of the foot away, slowly lift the foot up, tracking the knee to the inside of the shoulder, and pressing this opposite thigh away. And then option is to grab behind the hamstring or on top of the shin, encourage that right knee a little further away. And I'm pressing my low back down into the mat, tucking my chin like I'm holding a little lemon. Then I'm going to bring that left foot down to the mat, cross the right thigh over, pick the left foot back up off the mat, grabbing opposite shins. You can maybe grab to the outsides of the feet, as long as you can keep your head, neck, and shoulders on the mat. Then I'm pulling down with my hands and pressing up with my shins and my ankles. My feet are pulling to the outside of the room, and I'm pulling my knees into my chest, and I'm rolling my low back down, my tailbone down. That feels good. Okay. Unwind, roll over to one side, press yourself up. We'll do a little bit of quad rolling, and then we'll do a quad stretch, and then you're done. And maybe you'll see some gains in your running. Maybe you'll just be less sore. Maybe you'll be faster. So we're going to roll on the quads just like we did in the warm-up. You can stop the roll. You can bend and extend on any really sticky spots on those quads. Draw the belly button in. Make sure the elbows are right underneath the shoulders. You can come up high towards the hip flexors. Kind of roll from side to side. Just do whatever feels good. And then we're going to stretch. So I'm going to take the roller out from underneath, come down onto my belly. I'm going to bend. This is my right foot. This is my right foot. My left foot is flat, and I'm just going to hug my heel into my glute. As I press this right hip down, the knee stays down, the quad stays down, the thigh stays down. And I'm just gently bringing my heel into my glute, and we'll change onto the other side. So when you combine stretching with your rolling, you really can get some flexibility and range of motion improvements, because you can make permanent changes, which is good, which is what we're looking for. So take some deep breaths. Good, and then press yourself up. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on the mat. Thanks a lot.